Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to this episode of our show. This is your host, Keith Doherty. Today our special guest is top real estate broker associate Madeleine Romanello of Compass, based out of Miami Beach, Florida. With over 17 years of experience in the South Florida real estate industry, Madeleine has made her mark as a top agent and broker by thinking outside the box to close every deal. A graduate of England's prestigious Cambridge University, Madeleine has lived in Germany, Greece, England, and now the U.S. She was elected by her peers to the Residential Board of Governors at the Miami Association of Realtors in 2016, the largest association in the country at 42,000 members. She is a member of the prestigious Masters Brokers Forum, an accredited buyer's agent, luxury home marketing specialist, certified residential specialist, a 5-star certified REO specialist, and a member of BNI. She is co-host of the Real Estate Forecast on the Beach Channel and has been quoted in numerous publications, including the Wall Street Journal. She is also widely involved in the community as the chair of the Pillar Board Trustees, chair of the Education Foundation, and immediate past chair of the Real Estate Council of Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce. She serves on the Transportation and Parking Committee of the City of Miami Beach and was past chair of the city's Service Partnership for Families and Children. All right, with all that said, Madeleine, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much. I'm very happy to be on. I appreciate it.
And Madeleine, if we could start for our listeners, what led you into real estate? Was it something that you always knew you wanted to do, or did you maybe stumble into it?
I definitely stumbled into it. My husband had two partners that were very big real estate investors up in New York, and he actually was their contractor. And so they were always buying, and he was involved in that process. And they came down to Miami Beach. So basically, he one day said, you know, my job was kind of going nowhere, and he's like, why don't you get your real estate license? And I said, okay, let me give it a shot. And I knew really not anything about it, you know, and so, but then when I got my license and started to, work in real estate, I realized that I had a talent for it that I never knew I had.
Excellent. And do you think you could talk about what personal attributes, traits, or qualities you think have most contributed to the success that you've had in real estate?
Yes, I think that, I am very real, very straightforward, probably to the point of perhaps too straightforward at times, but I think it is important. I think, my university, background, especially as a historian, I think made me a good problem solver, because, that's what you do when you're studying a subject and get posed with questions and having to provide answers. So you look at things from a lot of different angles, and I think a lot of real estate is problem solving up front. You present it, I've got to sell this, move here, get this money, get qualified, how I do this, and then where are the risks. So I think that's a big part of it. I'm, very detailed orientated, and I think very, read constantly, so I'm always on top of things. And I think, I'm also fun, so that, you can put a little bit of lightness into what's probably the most complicated, largest transaction most people will ever do, whether they're, a commercial buyer or a regular first-time home buyer.
And do you think you give our listeners an example of when these traits have played a role in your path towards success?
Yeah, I would say that I had a very big client that they bought a lot of properties with me over the years, and then things kind of, I don't think through my fault, but had soured a little bit, and I think I did a lot. I did property management, I did construction management for them. I did probably too much, and I think they kept pushing, and there was, resistance from me, so to the point where you feel bad, but you have to walk away from the situation. And I hate that, because I hate giving up, and you've got a long-term relationship. But those people, they ended up contacting me again and saying, you know what, you're the best that we found out there. You really look out for our interests. You really do that. And so that gave me I think, a good indication of my worth, and I think, also to know, great, every relationship can hit a bump in the road, but if the quality of the work is there, it's great to know you can overcome it and continue to, make money together, because I deal with a lot of investors and out-of-town investors, so I'm also responsible for making them, a lot of money, and I've got to know what's going on, and those people are they have means, so you can't make mistakes either, so you've got to put them in the right property with the right returns, etc., and make sure there's no unforeseen issues that come up after the fact, because you will get sued if you didn't do your due diligence.
Excellent. And Madeleine, I think sometimes when people build a successful business in a career, that getting there isn't always easy. Sometimes there's bumps in the road. Can you talk about some of the adversities and trials that you had to overcome in order to achieve your goals?
Well, the recession, and that was massive. I always joke with other agents. I think that the agents that have been around for a while, that we all suffer from, and I'm not making light of it, but PTSD, that the recession was severe, was very, very long. You had to reinvent yourself, reinvent your business constantly. If you weren't doing REOs or short sales, it was very hard to, to eat. And so basically, even if your average, sales price was, $1 million, $1.5 million, you had to go and sell $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 properties if that's what was selling. So you had to really look at, okay, what is moving, and aim yourself towards that. And I ended up doing REOs, for banks and short sales. I was probably one of the first people in my brokerage to do short sales in 2008, which was when these things were just starting to happen. And I learned a lot about it, and I aligned myself with a good attorney, and together we learned, and you got a lot of people out of a lot of debt, and you helped a lot of investors, make the real estate market whole again. So I think that the recession and the loss of confidence that you don't, I'm a very confident person, but you feel that you realize, oh my God, I lost confidence. Just like, wow, Madeleine, no way, But then you have to it took a while, it took a few years to get that confidence back. Not to second guess yourself, not to worry what's going to happen. Are you making the right moves? Are you giving the right advice? So that was probably the biggest adversity. And if people remember, the recession in real estate, you're talking good 5 years. That's a long time.
And as this, obviously, you walked through this, what kept you going despite this obstacle? Why didn't you give up? What was your driving force?
Well, I didn't have a choice. I didn't want to get a job for someone else, because at that point I had been my own broker, I had my own brokerage for 8 years. I love what I do. It's a very interesting business, and I love the diversity. So I'm not one of those agents that just sells condos in one building. I do, from multifamily to condos to single-family homes to land to, wherever the client takes me. And I've been in South Florida long enough to know a lot of the different neighborhoods. It's not, this is not New York City. We're not that big. I think sheer determination. I don't think I give up easily anyway. And, I definitely thought about it. Do I want to go and get a job? Could get a fund, could be an asset manager, could be an acquisition manager or something like that. But I didn't really want to do that, because I always knew, even at the bottom of the market, I was still making more money than probably most salaries would pay, So I think that was another factor. And I wanted to just keep on, overcome this hurdle and, come out of it better.
And I guess looking forward, what's your vision for your business and your career over the next 5 years?
This is my coach, the 5-year plan. That's always an issue. I guess my vision would be to continue to build my business with the kind of clientele that I have, which is a lot of business people, self-made people, very sophisticated but humble people. I've got some great clients, and that do a lot of different interesting things to continue to, increase my market share and my average sales price. But I want to do, I do maybe 50% commercial now, so I want to probably do a little bit more commercial. It's interesting. I like the idea of, being an agent that, we did a land assembly with one client, and you go like, wow, you're changing a neighborhood. You're improving housing. I think there's, so many opportunities in South Florida, and there's so much need for improvement. So I really like that aspect of it. And probably, continue to invest in properties as well. That would be a big factor for me.
And I guess kind of on top of that, what do you feel is the best way that you market yourself as a real estate professional so that you can have continual growth?
I think you have to. I have a very successful newsletter, and I very much believe I educate my clients, so it's not so much marketing, I'm the best, I'm the top producer, I'm the greatest, like so much of real estate marketing is about. I do a much more, here's an article, send a personalized email to a client, there's an article, this could affect your property, or this could be an opportunity, or, continually educate my clients on the process, whether they're buying a property, a second home, an investment property, or, a family home. So that, I think, is what is really important for me, that they are, you don't advertise yourself, you advertise yourself or your success stories or how you helped another client. And that's how I get the word out. And, I've got a really, very supportive, I'm a member of BNI, Business Networking International, so this is one thing that really is an interesting it teaches you how to do that, how to promote yourself, but without being, educate, differentiate, and motivate. That's their saying. So that you learn that. Why should you hire me? Well, this is what I did to get top dollar for the property, and here I can quantify it, and I can put it, in an email for you, so you can see all the different steps that are very different in order for you to get that price.
Excellent. And Madeleine, I think that sometimes when the general public looks at real estate agents, they don't fully understand the value that they provide from both a buyer and a seller standpoint. What do you think the biggest misconception or myth people have about working with a real estate agent?
The misconception that, they're not hardworking, and that it's, an easy process, and I think that, it's a lot of money to make for something that's simple, but I think most people don't understand all the little steps involved. Like I have a, 2-page checklist just to get through one transaction of all the things that got to, happen in order for the transaction to go smoothly. Because, and I get this from attorneys that I work with all the time, Madeleine, you follow through all the way. Most people just hand over the file. And then public, they call their agent, and they, they don't have all the answers because they're not on top of it. So I think that as far as selling a property, the way I put it, it's like I'm, venture capital for the seller, because I have to put up all my time, which is money, all my marketing dollars, which is money, all my skill, etc. And of course, I still have to get the seller to cooperate because, in order to position and price the property correctly. So there's a lot involved. So if you add it all up, and that's a lot of commission. Yeah, but I risked my time, my reputation, because if you're not pricing it right, people can look at you and go like, oh my God, that Madeleine, she overprices properties, and you've got to do a lot of work, and I'm putting that all up front, so I think the reward should be there. And I think that, if people understood that part of it, they would understand, well, this is why we have this commission system. You don't pay when you buy, but you pay when you sell. And unfortunately, in this industry, there is, people that say they're going to do something and they don't do all the marketing they're supposed to do. And then I think people get disappointed, and they have a right to have a lower opinion of certain agents,
Excellent. And Madeleine, let's say you get a call from a family member or a friend, and they're in another state, and they want to sell their home. Now, obviously, with your experience and probably all your connections, you could easily look up an agent and do a referral. But from a general advice standpoint, what advice would you give them about selecting an agent that could best serve their needs?
I would probably, get them to ask also, obviously, their neighbors and friends in sphere about the agent, and I would guide them. I would try to get a little bit more information on what they're trying to accomplish. And then let's say I was going to help them, I would get on the phone and maybe call 2-3 agents. I'm a CRS. I also sit on the Board of Governors at the Miami Realtors Association. So, I could definitely reach out to people and to say, here's what they're trying to do. This is what they need. Can you help them with that? And then most good agents will say, no, this is really not what I do. Or they say, yeah, absolutely. I've sold 10 houses in this area, etc. And, I would definitely research online, look at the website, look at what kind of marketing samples, and definitely get a marketing presentation from them as well. And I think a local recommendation is always good as far as from the people that know them and know that market and say, okay, yeah, Mary did a great job. She did this and my, other agent didn't do that kind of thing.
And Madeleine, obviously you're based out of Miami Beach and you kind of cover the general Miami area. And if somebody's looking for real estate services or an agent in that general area, what's the best way they can find out more information about you and how you can help them?
Well, they can obviously go and see my agent page at compass.com. That's COMPASS.com. Very exciting new company in the South Florida marketplace. Call me on my cell phone, 305-282-2133. I have, there's quite a lot of press. I'm very involved in community, different areas, also on the real estate board. And so that's always a good way to find out about any agent, I think, to see what they're involved in, and positive and negative press, of course. And my email is Madeleine, Madeleine, at compass.com. And I'm very responsive. Just sometimes need a couple hours to get back to people because I'm driving. So that's the only thing. But I'm, always happy to help people. And if I can't, then it's something, I would be like, no, I don't really do this, or you're better served by doing it this way. I think that's very important. Like getting advice from any professional, to be very transparent.
Excellent. Well, Madeleine, obviously we want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come here today and share all your professional real estate experience with our listeners. And if you're listening and you want to learn more about Madeleine, obviously you can go to her site, like you said. You can reach out via phone. Also, below this interview, we'll have a link to her site and any other contact information we have so you can see how she can help you with your real estate needs. So with that said, everybody, until our next show, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.